And Chair recognizes Mr. Roy from Texas, 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Speaker. I noticed there's been a lot of comments about, this being dangerous. This is dangerous. This empowerment of Article 1 in the Constitution, the People's House and the Senate, it's dangerous to empower Congress. I want to remind the American people that it is your representatives that you hired to come to Washington and represent you that are sitting here in the House Judiciary Committee, a committee charged with defending the Constitution of the United States, that is looking at you and all of this country and saying, we would rather empower the administrative state under Article 2 in the Constitution than do our job to defend the Constitution of the United States as your representative. That is what your representative is saying to you. And they're saying it emphatically. They are saying it with passion. They're not even just ignoring it. They're actually fighting to give more power to the administrative state, more power to the bureaucracy, more power to Article 2, under a Constitution specifically designed, fought for, to ensure that wouldn't be the case. That gives you a glimpse into the problem that we face today. That an all-powerful government is somehow preferred. That an all-powerful government with bureaucrats unchecked by the people's representatives is the preferred state in the 21st century in America by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. There's been a lot of pointing at the REINS Act as being dangerous and a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth of the calamity that we face with respect to the debt ceiling. I would remind my colleagues and the American people that in the legislation put forward by Republicans, Limit, Save, Grow, that we're fighting to cut the inflationary spending by $1 trillion in year one and $5 trillion over a decade. Our Democratic colleagues want to keep the status quo of record inflation and record spending. We want to cut the spending of the woke federal bureaucracy that's at war with the American people, that is targeting former presidents and targeting the American citizenry, interfering with their ability to live free and prosper economically. We want to limit that simply to pre-COVID levels, something that polls at 76%. Our Democrat colleagues want to expand it. We're fighting for reliable energy and for the working class and hardworking American families, but our Democratic colleagues want to preserve their fat cat subsidies for unreliable energy to the wealthy, to the elite, to corporations and to Chinese communists. 90% of subsidies going to billion-dollar corporations, 80% of EV subsidies going to individuals making over $100,000 or couples making over $300,000. That is your modern Democratic Party, the party of corporate subsidy. We're fighting for the plumber with no student loans and the veteran that sacrificed for the nation. Democrats are bailing out people with master's degree in gender studies. We are fighting for poor and middle-class Americans. They're already targeted by the Internal Revenue Service at higher rates. Black Americans 3 times more, poor 5 times more. Democrats want to expand the IRS to go after those Americans even more. We're fighting to reassert Congress's role right here in this committee. We're debating this matter over an executive branch pumping out new regulations that cost hundreds of billions of dollars. Democrats want to empower these faceless bureaucrats. We are fighting to restore the dignity of work in this country. Our Democratic colleagues want to continue to destroy families and communities by spending billions to keep Americans at home. We simply want to restore the work requirements that Bill Clinton signed and Joe Biden voted for, and our colleagues can't even sit down to agree to that which was already accepted previously by our Democratic colleagues. We are fighting to preserve an American dream that is increasingly out of reach for Americans. Our Democratic colleagues want to destroy that dream, and here we debate the REINS Act, designed very specifically to pull back the regulatory state. And I would just add, with respect to the student loan issue, remember there was Speaker Pelosi who said, people think the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress. And here we are with our Democratic colleagues in the Judiciary Committee yielding that power, not wanting to reclaim that power. I yield back.
The gentleman's time's expired. The gentleman from